there, YouTube. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. I went to my very first ex-Jehovah's Witness meetup, and it was amazing, and I met some really cool people and had a great time. And I got to thinking, wow, you know, I have, as you may or may not know, a vast collection of Jehovah's Witness literature spanning a really long time, like almost all the way from the beginning of the Witnesses. So I decided to go back to some of the earliest books that I have. I looked through the Rutherford books and took pictures of some of the most interesting illustrations just to show you and see what you think. So here we go. Our first one is from 1926 in a book called Deliverance. Anybody hear banjos? I hear banjos. Not that Deliverance. So you can see here that the extremely weird gigantic hand with a weapon is present as far back as 1926. What'd you think? And then we go to a book called Government in 1928. And Government, they used existing art that they actually attributed to the real artist for a change. This was before they stopped using the cross, as you'll see later. Then, in 1929, we have this gem, the Valley of Dry Bones. But, you know, those bones, for dry bones, they look very active to me. Don't they look active to you? This looks like Halloween. It's kind of comical in a way. It's funny. And then in another way, it's really creeptastic if you imagine, you know, the average Jehovah's Witness and how terrifying this would be. And here you see our good buddy Jesus and a cross. Like I said, they used to believe in the cross too. The first volume of a book called Light in 1930 gave us this gem. This is the precursor to the famous Jezebel picture in the My Book of Bible Stories. But here, it's a bit more graphic. You can see that they are fighting Jezebel and actively throwing her out the window head first, obviously against her will, although I don't know who would agree to be thrown out of a window now that I think about it. You can see these amazing locusts, and they look kind of familiar, don't they? These are sort of foreshadowing to the Revelation book, aren't they? And once again, you see, you know, the usual carnage and horror and, you know, the priest there who's running away, screaming. Nice portly priest. They really hated Catholics for some reason. Next, we have, I guess, supposedly the religious leaders reaping the vine of the earth. You can see that there are demons and spirits all around them. And I included this picture because, number one, the demon imagery I think is pretty bizarre, but also because these guys look like governing body members to me, don't they? I mean, isn't that Anthony Morris right there? Oh, and look, there's Stephen Lett in the funky tricorn hat. Moving on to Light number 2, you see the precursor to Babylon the Greatest, the harlot riding the scarlet-colored wild beast. No slobber on the keyboard. No. In the 1930 version, she was naked, or almost naked, much more scantily clad, and she had a headband on, like some sort of Janis Joplin thing going on there. And actually, it looks like it has writing on it, but I can't make out what the writing actually says. So, yeah. At one time, Watchtower frequently included nudity in their publications. And also, do you notice that the wild beast has different animal heads? Like there's a boar and some sort of bulldog with a horn and a dragon maybe? Or I don't really know what that thing is. A very confused leopard thing. Also, the second volume of Light in 1930, it looks like somebody sort of put together like a family beach trip picture, and they put grandma in there and then added some Armageddon in the back and people sort of staggering like zombies toward paradise, I guess. It says Entering the Highway, which puts me in the mind of like a Stephen King novel. I don't know, but I just think this guy in his bathing costume with a belt on is really humorous. This picture just freaks me out. Like, from a distance, it looks sort of like he's got C-3PO's head, which You know, it's like a cross between C-3PO and Voldemort, actually. And he's holding some sort of broken canoe, it looks like, maybe. I can't really tell. I don't know what that is. Can't tell. But then when you zoom in closer, you can see that there are actually people and things recognizable inside this larger statue. Like, in his face, there's another man with a crown on, and then you can see another guy in the middle of his chest. Like, it's really, really creepy. Like, this is serious nightmare fuel. Wow. Nightmare fuel. For real. Then we go on to a book called Preparation in 1933, and this one is at least very colorful. It looks like Jehovah has a court with like a rainbow, so I don't know. It looks like a woman in the middle though. So that is kind of weird to me because I thought that they believed that only men were judges and rulers, or that, you know, maybe that's just an effeminate man. Well, wait, he is under a big rainbow. So I'm going to go with, oh, and he's surrounded by pink angels too. I'm going to go with that is a very, very gay judge in Jehovah's court. Why does Jehovah need a court anyway? Also from Preparation in 1933, you see another precursor to the Revelation book. You have the king riding out of the sky on a horse, followed by a bunch of other people on horses and stuff. And you've got your usual religious leaders in the front and your Jehovah's Witnesses raising their watchtowers to the sky in the background, which I think is a bit odd. Then we have another example of the gigantic hand with a weapon imagery. This one is also from the same book in 1933, and it's entitled I Am a Farmer. I'm not really sure what they're trying to say here. Maybe that the Pope there, obviously he's a Catholic priest of some type, he's trying to pretend to be a farmer, and the witnesses are evidently, I don't know if they're preaching to him or trying to call him out, saying, ha ha ha, yes, you are a priest. You can't fool us. You still have your fish hat on. Jehovah, come smite these guys. So you get Jehovah's smiting the other ones there with his machete. You can see them, they're half out of their pants. Then after that, I think it was 1934, so I don't know, I may have my chronology out of order here. The reason that I included this book is because it has a very interesting little thing here, if you look. Proof conclusive that millions now living will never die. I thought they said recently that millions now living may never die. Well, it's right here, guys, on the cover of the book. Now we're going to go into a book called Jehovah in 1934. We have this lovely gem, which again is reminiscent of the Revelation book. You have people are being thrown down the stairs, evidently, and yeah. Then we have this picture from a book called Riches, published in 1936. It's in full color. Once again, you got the rainbow circle. Jehovah was really into pride, evidently. Do you need attention again? But I gave you so much attention already. I just attentionated you. You need me to eat your face?
No, I don't know where the rest of the snacks are.
Carson, come and eat Harrison's face. Come eat his face. Eat his face.
No.
Eat his face. No, not my face, you traitor. Back to the Jehovah's Witness Pride Parade. All right, so you see the Heavenly Host and the Heavenly Pride Parade up at the top, and then evidently the Paradise and a bunch of people in Paradise. Evidently, we will have crisp, starched, white cotton robes. So bleach will evidently still be a thing, as will irons and washing machines. Good to know. Let's move from this idyllic image to another death, destruction, and mayhem picture with the added bonus of some gratuitous titties. I'm not really sure why those titties are there, or what's with all the blood, or the dead guys, or anything like that. Actually, I think this was the birthday party with John the Baptist. Now that I think of it, it's pretty gruesome. Nightmare fuel. Moving right along, then we have another precursor to the Babylon the Greatest. And this one looks like, actually, she might be a trans Babylon. Again, the beast has a strange assortment of heads. You've got the bulldog with a horn still. Looks like the Dragon's been replaced by a goat. Then we get to this one. What is happening here? I believe that this picture is supposed to be from the Inquisition, demonstrating how evil churches are, which this is certainly horrible, but it is once again gratuitous. Y'all, this was supposed to be pure Christian, wholesome, upbuilding stuff. Why do they have pictures like this in this literature? This is bizarre. So then we get to 1939, a book called Salvation, and this was the front plate of that book. And this reminds me a whole lot of like Nazi Germany propaganda images. And then you have this gem, once again, lots of bloody death, beheadings, etc. That is a gigantic head. I don't know how he's just sort of holding onto it with a couple fingers. That's pretty crazy. Then we have this one. This is, looks like Adam and Eve and the paradise and stuff all mixed together. Fill the earth. I'm not sure. Like there's some Armageddon in there, and then there's a big round rainbow and Noah's Ark. And like, I think this is just a biblical conglomeration. This is my favorite part though. I'm wondering how they're going to fill the earth if Adam actually has no junk. Just curious. I think this is hilarious. Here is a beautiful artist rendering of Beth Sarim. Then we have a book called Religion in 1940. Oh, another nightmare fuel image. I'm not really sure what this is supposed to be. It's a really, really weird, like almost drug-addled image. Then we have another Revelation book precursor. This is actually, I think, John having the visions of the birth of the kingdom. John looks kind of like he needs a sandwich, though. Like, something's wrong with that guy. Starting to look familiar, though, isn't it? Then you have this really overconfident jerk of a Jehovah's Witness lording it over all of the world's other religions. What a dick. This one, I feel like this needs to be a t-shirt. I really do. I feel like I need a t-shirt that says locusts frighten religionists. This one is also funny. The irresistible message. Now, this lady looks pissed off. Like, she closed her door. She didn't even want to hear this. And now they've set up a phonograph outside her window and they're blasting their message anyway. And they wondered why people hated them. While thumbing through these books, I found this early back call form or a return visit form. And I just love how they have a blank for language or colored. So like, do they not know that black people speak English in America? Then we have this one, which is obviously a paradise photo. Notice the rainbow in the background. It's recurrent again. And here we are with naked children. And this isn't just like babies in their underpants. And what is that dude doing? My pedophileometer went off when I saw this picture. Like, ooh, even the lion's over it. He's like, can we not, please? Then we have this lovely, soothing, comforting picture from a book called Children, published in 1941. And I can remember my grandfather talking about how he was so excited to get this book at a convention. But you can see they have now graduated from using the cross. It looks sort of like the people are at a rock concert, though. Like, this was before rock concerts were a thing. But I mean, look at this guy. He's like, Freebird! Children. It's in a book called Children. Isn't that great? So here's another picture from the book Children. For, you know, children. Jehovah smites the enemy. Here's another picture from that same book. And this is apparently the presentation of Samuel for temple service. And once again, where are his clothes? What are they doing? Why are they letting him go with this dude? No. Some more nudity. This time in a book called The Truth Shall Make You Free from 1943. And here you see a weird-looking otter-like creature. Actually, I think that's supposed to be the serpent, because didn't they used to teach at one time that the serpent had legs until they were thrown out of Eden? Yeah. Another illustration from the same book showing some pretty massive waves. I don't know how the ark would have even survived those waves. And of course, all of the people who are inexplicably naked and hanging on to a mountaintop. This was also in the same book in 1943, and this is another iteration of Babylon the Great, writing the wild beast, and this time she appears to be coming for the Jehovah's Witnesses, who are raising their watchtowers to the sky again for some reason. What's the rainbow theme? I'm not really sure I understand, but obviously it was a thing. But this is the biblical library from the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society. Notice what is missing from the biblical library? The Bible. Then you have the full color rendering of all of their tracts, pointed discourses that were available at the time. What do I do with all that literature? I'm not kidding when I say that I have every single thing in triplicate. Now, the old stuff from the 20s and 30s, I might have one or two only of those things. But getting into the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, oh my God, so much crap. So, I don't know. I need ideas for like an art project, or I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I feel like I don't want to throw it away because I feel like one day it'll be really rare. But I am thinking about setting up a Watchtower research library. So tell me in the comments if you think that a Watchtower research library would be useful for anyone at some point. I feel like something like that should exist though, you know? Anyway, have a good day, guys. See you later.